I'm back, Genix Gamer here, with a brand new game that we're going to be bringing to the channel called Pro Strategy Football 2023. And I know that there has been a series of Pro Strategy football games over the years. I have never played them. Yeah, I've never ever played them. And I just so happened to catch some of the gameplay on SoCal Saber Bill Thornton's YouTube channel, and it intrigued me, and he seemed to be having a lot of fun with it, so I decided to pick it up off of Steam. It's not, I think it's just about a month old, and I picked it up on Steam for $19.99, and from what I understand, they kept the price exactly the same, and every year, from the research I've done, this game has improved drastically. So it's a simulation football game, strategy game, and I think we're going to really enjoy it here on the channel. So thank you, SoCal Saber Bill Thornton, for bringing this to my attention. Also, if you have not visited his channel, please do so. I'm going to have in the description below a list that I'm starting that's going to be friends of the channel, and Bill Thornton's definitely going to be one of them. I think we've been in touch with one another for about a year and a half now, and he's definitely a friend of the channel, so we're going to have him in there. Be sure to go to his channel, check him out, and then also I will have the web address in the description below, the link in the description below for the mods. So as we get into that, that will also be in the description below. And the good news is these mods are 100% free, and it took them an enormous amount of time to create these mods. Enormous amount of time. There's a handful of mod creators, and they've done an excellent job. So let's go ahead and let's get right into this. Let's go right to the bottom bar. Support, you can click on that. There's in-game help, contact info, credits, and about PSF. So be sure to check that out. There's an extensive user manual in here that you can feel free to go through. I'm not going to go through that, or this video will be extremely long. It'll probably be long enough. Game settings. Let's click in there. We're going to go up to the top left to coaching. In here, you can see all the different options for coaching. I'll run through some of these real quick. Auto-suggest offense. AI automatically suggests offense. You would select that. You would select that if you only wanted to coach defense. If you only wanted to coach offense, you would then go to the next one, auto-suggest defense, and let the suggestion basically automatically call the play. You can include clock suggestions when suggesting plays. The AI will. I leave that off. I like coaching both sides of the ball, so I leave those off. Automatically rest tired players. I have that selected. Automatically spread passes out more. I have that selected. I like to have that one selected. I think by default it's unselected. I like to select that one. Keep play action selection between plays. Keep motion selection between plays. I have off. Show player ratings on play calling on. Show player names on play calling. I have that selected. And then you also have offensive layout, formations, or plays first. I have not messed with that, but I think it's just it just changes the way that your formations and plays are listed in what order. So I just go choose formation first. I leave it alone there. Next one is gameplay. Career. Keep past season stats unless manually deleted. In fact, I'm not going to read through all of these. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. But I'll leave it up here for a second. You can see which ones I have checked. The only one I don't have checked is pause live simulations each quarter and at the 2-minute warning. I leave that unselected. I think this is how it came default anyway. Realism, players, Tire, I have that selected. Allow injuries, allow penalties, use home and road win ratings, except for championship game, which would be the Super Bowl. Adjust penalty percentage approximate. I just have that as use as is. There's all kinds of different adjustments you can do there between 1% to 2%. And you can feel free to mess with all of these as much as you want to. Animations, here's what I have selected. Show animations, show weather particles, snow and rain. Show weather banner. So those are all selected by default. Player size, I go with smaller, folks. I like smaller. A lot of people like normal. And then there's large and huge. Animation speed, I like the slower animation speed. There's normal, faster, or there's very slow and slowest. I use normal. Animation messages, top of the screen or bottom of the screen. I like the top of the screen. Animation names. Okay, what this does is this puts the name of the player kind of like above them. Or it could be to the side of them. I don't remember, above or the side. Anyway, you can have it selected where key players at the start of the play, it shows their names. Ball carrier only or none. And then last one is animation frames. And I personally prefer the 6 frames. It's nice and smooth. Some guys like 4 frames. Others like the 8. 8, it kind of looks like the players are more skating, like they're on ice skates. I kind of like the 6. So that's where I leave that. And then let's go over to sounds. Sounds. So we see here we have crowd sounds, sound effects, huts, commentary, referees, music. And if we go over to the top middle, where it says screens, volumes, it's in orange. I have that currently selected. And this is when you're looking at menu screens like what we're doing now. You can have crowd sound effects. Your referee sounds are also in that area. This is what they sound like. Okay, I have it set around 40-ish. And then there's some default music that comes with the game. Okay, I'm not going to leave it on just due to copyright stuff, whatever. I don't want to have something weird get flagged. You also have a music folder that you can choose to put music in that you may want to have playing in the background. If you got like, I don't know, old school football music from the 70s and 80s that you want to have in there while you're playing your sim, you can go ahead and drop those in there, or any other type of music you want to, but that has to be MP3 format. So make note of that. Has to be MP3 format, no MP4s or WAV files, MP3. And then you can also go here and select random music from folder, where instead of playing it in order, it'll just randomly go ahead and play the music. But that pretty much does it for the screen volumes. If you go over to animation volumes, we'll click on that. Again, crowd sounds, I have right around 40. Again, you could tweak these to your liking. Sound effects, you can hear what those sound like. Okay, and then the huts. Commentary. First down. And then also your music slider. Okay. We'll select back on there so we get rid of the sounds. Anyway. So that's pretty much the setup there with your sounds. Now let's go over to display at the top right. And I typically have it on windowed full screen, which is what you're seeing right now. There's other options here you can play around with, but I have it on Windows full screen. The only thing that drives me nuts is when I take my mouse, I go all the way to the bottom, even when I'm playing the game, my little taskbar there at the bottom comes up. So that sometimes gets annoying, but I'll probably get better at not bringing the mouse down that far. And then you have, let's see, what else here? Down here, you also have an option for change display settings. You could click that too. It's pretty much brings up the same menus together, game settings, display settings. So just make note of that. Sometimes in here, there's several different ways to get to several different menus. So update button gives you information on what's been updated, any of the bug fixes. Bear in mind, this is still in beta, so they're still making changes and updates. And then there is also a community icon that you could click and go through community and links. So that basically covers that bottom bar. Now, let's go ahead and get into some of these others here on the center of the screen. All right, folks, let's go ahead and click on Click Play. And what we're going to do is a new quick game. We'll click on that. Now, again, you're going to have basically the default base game when you first purchase a game. You're not going to have any logos on the helmets. You're going to have different names for the teams, okay, like New York Knights, Philadelphia Hawks. And again, that's all due to licensing and whatnot. But that's what we have the modders for. So just understand when you first initially get the game, this is really what it's going to look like. Your players and coaches are going to have fictitious names. Okay. And if we go ahead and let's click on Customize Game here in the middle, you can change whatever you want. There's game setup, time, weather, score, etc. All this good stuff. Whatever you want your simulation to look like, you can do inside of this engine. I mean, it is crazy. A lot of bang for your buck with this simulation. Goalposts, you can click on that. You can go with a modern pro like what we have today at the back of the end zone. You could go classic pro, okay, and have it at the front of the end zone. If you're playing college, we can go classic college at the front of the end zone or back of the end zone. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Pretty darn well customizable, okay? Making note of that, let's go over to the New York Jets player here. And we're going to select his sleeves. You could change it to short sleeves. You could change it to long sleeves. Okay, customizable to your liking. There are also options in here to get rid of the face mask too, which we'll run across at some point. So if you were playing a 1940 season and you don't want the face mask, you can take them off. Compare teams, you click on that. Now, mind you, I have this modded. You would not have pictures here, okay? So when you first fire up yours, you're not going to have Mike Tomlin here, okay? You're going to have nobody. It's just going to say Rohan Parker. All right, but I already have it modded out. And on this particular, when you go ahead and do the base gameplay, just an exhibition, it's going to still load up those pictures, but those don't come with the original game. So anyway, let's go back to that. I just kind of want to explain that because that'll create some confusion. But you can compare teams. You can see the coaching styles, how they're predominantly pretty close here with offensive emphasis, run usage. Now pass usage. 3 and 4 wide receivers by New York, mostly 2 by Pittsburgh. Okay, they favor the 4-3 in New York, 3-4 in Pittsburgh. So you can go through and see all these different comparisons with the teams. So be sure and check that out. And then also you can analyze a game. You can run 100 different sims or 1,000 different sims. Choose what weather options, all that stuff. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. But you could see, run 100 sims and see how many times Pittsburgh wins, how many times New York wins, right? all that kind of stuff. And then you can swap home and visitor. Color of jerseys, click on that. There's your white. There's your black. And you notice it also will change the New York ones. If I click it again, just flip-flops them. Okay, another nice touch in this game. So that's what it looks like there with the exhibition game. And again, you can go down here and click Game Settings. That brings you to that one window that we did in our last segment. And then also Game Rules, all customizable. Where you want to kick off from. 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay. Allow fair catches, yes or no. Touchback after the kickoff. If you're playing, an older season, hey, they only brought it out to the 20-yard line, right? So you could correspond that with the year, the season that you're playing. Other touchbacks, let's see. Ball after missed field goal, spot of the kick, line of scrimmage, always the 20. Okay, it's all customizable, folks. I don't think I have to go through all this. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can change these to college rules. If you're modding for USFL or something like that, you can play according to those old rules. Whatever you want to do, it is all in here. All right, so that is the exhibition. Let's go ahead and click back. And now we'll get into the single season mode.